Welcome everyone. Today we'll have another Genshin Impact News Digest. In today's News Digest, we'll look at a number of posts on Reddit currently about accounts being hacked and the need for extra security. And also one of the biggest streamers, Cloud9 Childe, has lost his account. He was able to recover the account after 48 hours, but this is very concerning. So we want to address the issue that having two-factor variation for the system is very important. After that, we'll look into a side-by-side comparison of different stats on the same character facing the same boss. So this gives us a bit of knowledge of what those stats stands for and how those stats can be effective at different ways. Next up, we'll look into some of the game finer details which can be very intriguing, and also about the pyro slimes and the Charles interactions with water. Finally, we'll look into some of the cute posts and fun posts of the day with one of the very cute vessel posts over here, and also we have Paimon put a sneaky on the Fatari, so Paimon really held her grudge against Childe over here. Now before we start today's news, it's very important for me to remind us guys to do the Stone Harbor treasure journals, because what happened is those things take 15 minutes each time you click them, and I always forget to click them. So what I recommend guys is always do those and come back every 15 minutes, because you do have to do a bunch of those. So every 15 or 20 minutes, come back for those, because if you don't do enough of them, you might not be able to get to the maximum scores. So it's important guys, you come back and do those. This is a daily reminder, because I always forget to do those. At night I was like, oh no, I'm gonna sleep, and I had to delay my sleep because I wanted to finish those two opportunities. Now, some of my viewers told me about the situation of C9 Cloud9 Judas and how he lost his streaming account with Genshin Impact, and he's one of the biggest streamers on Twitch with thousands of viewers and always the top 5 streamers on the category. So what happened is he sent a post about the account being hacked and different ways he tried to contact them, showing them different proof of receipts of payments, and he streams the game so he can prove that that's his account. So after 48 hours, there was no response. Now, thankfully, later on, he did make a post saying the company personnel did contact him, and this was cleared up. He was able to recover his account. And what I noticed is, because notice here, he's not speaking English, so I'm translating his words into English. He did say that he was able to retrieve the account, change password, and put an ID user and put variation of two factors. So is it possible that developers or the personnel in the game with Genshin Impact actually gave him a way to have two-factor variation for the account because they worry about his account security? If that is the case, that is very good and very important for them to give everyone this method, because you can see that a lot of other posts I'm seeing. So here we have a post about, I lost my account, and our friend here, vipexace, is spending over $400 in the account, and he's very frustrated. And I can see more posts just recently guys, 5 hours, 6 hours ago. I'm quite concerned as well. I did go and change my password. I have a bit of backup with my screenshots, but we don't want to lose our accounts. We have a number of posts coming up as well saying we should address the security system, which is flawed, and people are increasingly losing their accounts, and as opposed pushing for the need to have two-factor variation and more security. Now, on this post made by Judith over here, he said he found his account on a certain website. People are actually selling his accounts with those stats. People are selling a number of accounts, and those accounts going by like $350, which he spent over $5,000 or a few $1,000s in the game. So they have created a market where people actually steal accounts and sell them quickly. Even though you get the account back, it has been transactioned and you don't know what happened to the account. People might have deleted some things, and almost all of the posts are saying, we did not get any email verification when this was happened, when the account was hacked, and my information was never shared. So this is very important that we as a community and push for the two-factor variation for the Genshin Impact accounts. At this moment, a lot of the high-paying accounts, those who paid more money into the account are losing their accounts. But that is not to say the free-to-play or the low-spending players are always free or risk-free, because if this goes worse, the hackers will always try to acquire as much account as they can. So we need to make sure we protect all of their accounts. And I felt it is very important that we make this video to stress about the need for two-factor variation, which Judith did hear mention about that, so I'm not sure if they're implementing this and they're testing with this account, or maybe just a mistranslation with the words because he did not speak English over here. So I'm really hoping for, guys, and let's push for it, the two-factor variation for the Mihoyu Genshin Impact accounts. Now, if you haven't subscribed, this is a really good time to do so. Make sure you also turn the bell on for the latest news as I find more of them for us. You can see that we're really dedicated for Genshin Impact. We'll have builds, guides, tips, news, and events updates for everything that's Genshin Impact related. Next up, we'll have a post made by Xforced about different stat pools, similar results side by side. So I'll start the particular fight, and what you're going to see is you're going to see different numbers popping against the same monster with the same level. One of the side has 2082 attack, and this side will have 2600 attack. So one is building for attack and less critical rate. This one is building for critical and physical damage bonus. You can see that it's a slightly speed up with the lower attack but higher critical rate and physical damage on this side. It's pretty much the same. The difference is less than 1 or 2 seconds. You can see here. So this one was slightly slower. Now, what we can kind of understand from this, and most of the comments are saying that, is it supports the idea that most of the artifacts give attack stats can help, and even if you don't build to the meta or the the perfect stats, you can still achieve similar results. So you don't have to trouble yourself to go, oh, I need to build for critical rate, I need physical resistance. If you don't have those, you can still make it work if everything went for attack. But you can still see there's a small difference that this side is slightly faster. So it is true that the meta, about the better stats, it works, but if you compare the difference, the attack can still work. So keep in mind, guys, you do not have to frustrate yourself trying to roll for the perfect stat and everything. As long as those are offensive stats, they should still work for your account, and you can see very similar results. So it's a good verification of saying a lot of different builds can work, instead of just saying this character has to go electric, has to go physical, has to go critical rate. Some of the general stats with attack can still work, and very happy to see that. But keep in mind, guys, Fischl is using normal attack and she's not using her spells, and this may be a big factor as well, because if she's using her spells, the physical bonus might not come to much of a factor, and the electric damage might be more effective with high attack. So if your characters are not doing physical, if they're doing elemental, say pyro, hydro, this might be a little different, because this comparison is still limited to physical comparison. Next up, we have a post made by Emotion Lord over here about the Hilichurl Grenadier can't find a pyro slime in water. So what happened is, let's go through the little clip over here. When you fight the Hilichurl, he digs in the ground and pull up a pyro slime, and then he used the pyro slime to throw at you and explode. Notice that he is near places where there's water and he's still digging. He cannot find a pyro slime. And our recorder here is just watching. He finally is not buffed by hydro. He found a pyro slime and he's throwing the slime at us now. And what you're going to see is he will keep digging, and if he's next to water, he cannot find any slimes that is pyro. It kind of makes sense because pyro slimes don't go underwater, and it's those small details with the game that I find very interesting. And some of the comment posts is like, more concerned about the fact that pyro slime under the land, which can be a landmine. So it's very detailed mechanics and designs with the game, which I really appreciate, because it's the small things like that. If he's debuffed by hydro and he's digging in water, he shouldn't, by law, he shouldn't be finding the slimes, because the slimes don't stay underwater, right? But once he goes to dry ground, he can dig them up. So very happy to do this and want to share this with you guys. So it's good game designs, and we appreciate the details they put in. Next up, we have our original post by Palo27 over here, and because it's a Fischl event, I thought, let's appreciate the beautiful post he made with the Fischl, and he's so cute. He's like, no, don't come at me. And yeah, it's quite nice. It is quite nice and very cute because of the ongoing Unreconciled Star event with free Fischl. Everyone will be getting one of it, and look at here. I love it. So yeah, lovely original post, and credits to our original poster. Very thankful for him to sharing us this, and let's get one Fischl for everyone. Now I usually try to save the best to last. Over here we have a clip by Admblackhawk over here, and you can see that Paimon put a sneaky on the Fatari. Paimon always had a grudge with Childe, did she now? So what we're going to see is, let's watch the clip first, let's talk about it after. So let's see. So our friend is just recording, he's just traveling with Childe. And Paimon's like, how about we explore over there and you die now? Let's zoom out, I'll show you guys again. So what happened is, usually Paimon has the this in-game system. If you go to any of the red zones, Paimon will push you away from the zone, and she forces you to move in a direction that you cannot stop. You lose all controls for 2 seconds. And just happens Paimon waited for the perfect moment to push Childe over here off the cliff and kills him. And off he goes. It's the small things in the game that, you know, it might not be intentional, but because of the lore and the story, it's a fun one. And the comment saying, "Good job, Paimon. Now do that 10 times more." So, you know, I always have bad blood with Childe. It just happens. Paimon is still very cute and one of the best traveling companion for me. And it turns out she didn't like Childe. So let me know what you guys think about the fan post, guys. To summarize today's news digest, it's important, guys, don't forget the web event. Always come back to the web event to maximize your point scoring. And after that, we talk about how one of the biggest streamers was losing their account. He actually found people selling his exact account on this particular website. And what got me, you know, really interested is that he said about the two-factor verification. A lot of posts are talking about the need for extra security, and if we can get two-factor verification very soon, that's much more securing. And we can play the game knowing that we wouldn't just randomly lose an account without doing anything wrong, without even sharing account information anywhere else. We also had a look at the stats comparison of a physical damage Fischl with different stats, and how these stats, those offensive stats, can be very similar in effect. Finally, we appreciated how much designs and details the developers are doing with the pyro slimes and also the troll grenadiers. And also we look at a very cute vessel post, and also Paimon is doing something sneaky with Childe over here. Now, if you found this video helpful, make sure you subscribe and also turn the little bell on for the latest news. I'll be looking towards to make more builds, guides, tips, and news and event updates for us as we come further into the game. And as always, I wish you guys the best of luck with Genshin and have the most fun in exploring this wonderful world.